Fantastic.
Hello, everyone. Really good to see you. Oh, nice to see some familiar faces. Hi, Matt. Hi, Aisling. Hi, Hetty. Hi, Bragora. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us tonight. My name is Gabby, as some of you already know, and I run the events here at the Freelancer Club. And I'm joined by Jessie Olive from the Ladies Wine and Design. Hello, everyone. Hello. Really good to see you.
Hello.
And so tonight we'll be doing a bit of networking and a bit of an informal conversation around connecting creatives. It's mostly about you making connections, meeting new people. We'll wait for a few more people to jump on this call and get it started with Jessie and myself, but then we open up the flow for discussion. So I strongly encourage you not to be afraid to speak up and really just share your views. We're here to generate a conversation around creative industries, and every opinion is super important to us. So please don't be shy. To start things off, I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself. Whatever you feel comfortable with, just put it in the chat box below, please, so people can check you out and connect with you after this half-hour discussion. So best way to do it is to copy paste your URL so we can click it directly and it saves in the computer. So write what you do, what's your name and your social tags, whatever it might be. All right, so in the meantime, whilst more people will join us, Jessie, do you want to kick things off by sharing a little bit about yourself and what tonight is about?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. As Gabby said, I'm Jazzy Olive. Not my real name, but it's the name I'm going to go by. So if I just can see if I can skip to the next slide. So yeah, today it's going to be a bit of an informal talk between all of us. So we can explore our creative experiences and learn from each other and eventually form some connections, which is super, super important in the industry, and from mental health and well-being and general joy of being creatives. So you all know Gabby?
Wonderful. I was just going to write it in. It'll be quicker.
I forgot we put this together, actually.
I'll go for it. Cool, but,
yeah,
yes.
These are some really cool things that Gabby's been doing that I'm particularly in love with. I think are fantastic. So if you haven't already, definitely check out her website, gabriella.ditt.com. The link's at the bottom. And then you all know about the Freelancer Club. So they're big them up for facilitating fantastic conversations like this. And this is me. So I'm an interdisciplinary graphic designer, a healthcare UX researcher, a visiting lecturer, and a workshop facilitator. So I wear a lot of creative hats and do a lot of different things, but I absolutely love it. And being able to dip my toe into all of these creative waters is fantastic. I have a huge passion for social change and human-centered design. So it's great that I get to practice that in my creative work, as well as educate that when it comes to teaching. It's a really great harmony, I feel. But of course comes with struggles, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon. And here are some things I've been working on recently, and my website is at the bottom if you wanted to check that out too. And Ladies, Wine and Design. We are a community of creatives with the shared goal to empower women. And we do that through creative events like workshops and talks and Skillshare events, and sometimes just conversation evenings where we just get together and we do the fat, a bit like what we're going to be doing today. Cool. So I don't know how you want to get on to the next bit, Gabby, about the sort of question and answer time.
So since there is 10 people in the room, I will see how open-minded you are, or maybe how courageous you are, guys. And we'll open up the floor for discussion, but from experience, I don't expect many of you to speak up, so then we can send you into breakout rooms and here we can have an open discussion about the topic. So Jessie prepared some great questions that they use in these networking sessions for Ladies Wine and Design. So we're going to put some up, maybe lead by example, maybe not, maybe it'll be a terrible example, so we'll see, and get the conversation started. Okay?
Cool. So the first question that we have is, when and where do you get your best creative ideas? Now, it's quite a loaded question, because to say it's the best idea is probably bias. But I think we probably do all have a little inkling about the areas where we get the most creative buzz and creative ideas.
So let me go first, and Jessie, you go, and then if I can call you out by name, if you don't feel comfortable, you just say so, okay? So when and where do you get your best creative ideas? Usually in bed, just before I go to sleep, when everything shuts down. That's when my brain works the way I want it to. So yes, I have to keep a journal with a pen by my side, by my bedside, because whenever the idea comes, I just drop it down, and then the next day I process it. So that's my when and where in my own bed at the end of the day. What about you, Jessie?
Oh, do you know what? I'd actually probably say driving, which I honestly have to pull over in most trips just to write something down, because I don't know what it is. It's something to do with maybe the speed in which you drive. I do a lot of motorway driving because I live in my van, and I travel to different creative institutions and give these lectures and what have you. And yeah, I think maybe because I know I'm heading towards something creative anyways, that my head just buzzes, and traveling fast seems to just make all these ideas pop in my mind. And yeah, like I say, I have to pull over a lot and write them down. Or quite often I now just record my voice as I'm driving, and I just talk into my microphone and put them in there. Yeah, I'd say driving.
Oh, thank you. So Matt, you're first up on my screen. Matt is a freelance copywriter based in Leeds, and he shared his LinkedIn profile in the chat, so go and follow him. Matt, where do you get your best ideas?
So it's two main ways. As a copywriter, you're trying to kind of find novel ways of communicating things. So sometimes it just comes when you're reading up on something, when you're doing your research, you might just come across a little nugget of information and think, oh, I can build on that and make something out of that. Or sometimes when I've been researching and reading up on something and nothing's kind of materialized, sometimes it just pops into your head later. Could be doing anything, if out on a run or at the supermarket or wherever, sometimes something just crops up randomly. Yeah, I can make a little connection there and say this in an interesting way. So yeah, it kind of comes from doing the research and digging down into all, what's underneath everything. And then kind of when you have that little bit of time to switch off, you kind of unconscious brain gets working and something pops up. So yeah, that's how I get my ideas.
Wonderful. I love how sophisticated you are with it. Even with your shopping, you can make it creative. Amazing. Great. Next up, we have a photographer in Somerset. Ainsley Earl, would you like to share where you get your creative ideas from?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm a bit similar to you, sometimes in bed, but also out on the dog walk. I think just having the fresh air and nature kind of hitting around you gives your mind time just to kind of relax and think about things a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to say the dog walking, because I would always love to do it, but I was so focused on my dog that I'm not able to do anything else. Thank you so much for sharing. Brooke, I can't see your introduction here, so if you could just quickly mention what you do, please. Brooke Fabian, and where do you get your ideas from?
Yeah, sorry, I did it all in a bit of a mad panic, so I haven't actually written any. I'm a senior creative designer at Fruitful Studio, predominantly looking at brand identity really, and motion and digital. And I would say, like, building on what Matt said earlier on, I kind of feel the same really. I've only really just recently worked out, sorry, hang on, I've got one of those news moments. I'm just on a Zoom. Okay, thank you.
Oh,
sorry about that. I feel like, anyway, yeah, sorry. But I've only recently like worked out how my brain actually works properly. So what I do now is I put all the ingredients. So studio time is mainly concerned with putting all the ingredients for a problem in, and then or doing artwork or doing like manual, animation or whatever it is. And a lot of the time, the actual ideas happen either when you're freewheeling, like when you're out doing something, or you might be reading or watching a movie or anything that's non kind of labor intensive. I feel like my brain makes connections when it's kind of more relaxed. So now what I do is I kind of work around how that works. So schedule things that have a lot of high cognitive load for studio time, and then schedule ideas for non-studio or collaborative studio time when you're kind of not focusing on one thing.
Wonderful. Thank you. Jazzy, anything to add?
yeah, that was really interesting about the high cognitive load versus the lower cognitive load and the best places to do that. That's something that I was teaching at Falmouth University this week, and that was actually something that came up as well, and they had a similar feeling. So that's definitely something I think I'm going to channel better.
Thank you. Next up is Hetty. I see we don't want to spend all the time on this question, so I might need to nudge you a little bit to speed up your reply if possible, but if not, it's okay. So Hetty, you're an art worker. So could you tell us a bit more about where does an art worker come up with creative ideas and how?
Hi everyone. So yeah, graphic designer, art worker, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think I tend to come up with my best ideas either when I'm outside or when I'm having a conversation with someone. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the conversation doesn't have to be connected. I can just say something and then it will be like, oh wait, that really, like, I've been stuck on something, and then you like step away from it, forget about it, have a conversation with someone, and they might just say something about, I don't know, how they cleaned their house or like whatever, something like that, like the system, and then you're like, oh wait, I could use that system in my work, or that would work for me. But yeah, ideas are everywhere really.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, this isn't a question that we put in, but I am quite interested. Where do you guys put your ideas when you have them?
Well, sometimes it happens at inconvenient times. For example, on Saturday, I thought of something, so I just fired up my Mac and did it. I was actually doing something else anyway, so it kind of slotted in nicely. Or I'll scribble down in really bad handwriting if it's not a convenient time to be on a computer, or even do a voice recording. Or actually, I've got this app on my phone where you can scribble. Can't remember what it's called now. You can actually do a really simple sketch. Anyway, I'll put it in. It's really good. So you literally just turn your phone on, swipe it, and then you can draw on the screen with your finger. I've used that. I've actually drawn brand identities that have gone from that to being finished.
I love it. Please put us a link in the chat so we can go and check it out. And Matt, I see you unmuted yourself as well. So where do you keep your ideas?
Oh yeah, so I've started just using my phone, like the notes section in there, because I had a couple of times when I thought an idea cropped up and I thought I'd just remember it, and obviously it vanished. So I've sort of learned from that, and you don't want to lose those ideas when they crop up. So someone told me, actually, another copywriter told me about an app called Google Keep, which apparently if you type stuff into that on your phone, it syncs it up with your laptop, so you can just access it whenever. So I'm going to look into that, hopefully make it a bit easier.
Thank you so much. Moving on, we have Camilla. So Camilla, could you tell us, where do you get your creative ideas from for your work?
Oh, hi. where do I get my ideas from? That's a good question. I think it kind of links back to what Hattie said. They often come from unexpected places, and I'm a kind of a person who mixes up everything and tries everything, and sometimes unexpected things connect, and suddenly everything makes sense. Like I've learned to draw, to do style types, to do other things, and I think at the end of the day, everything connects, and you can create better things if you take your inspiration from a lot of different areas rather than just art or just nature or just one thing. So it's usually really random.
That's a really interesting point, because I went to see Michael Johnson do a live chat in Winchester before COVID, I think. And he said that he's got this theory that a lot of design all looks the same because designers always look at the same things. And so they only expose themselves to other design work, other brand identities, and the more culture you can look at, the stronger your kind of your influences are, and you create more varied and less kind of pigeonholed design, I think. And that's pretty much exactly what you just said. I think I really try and do that if I can, but it's not always easy though, is it?
I have the luxury of not being my 9 to 5, so
okay.
I have the luxury of just doing whatever I kind of set myself out to do. But I get it, like during, if it was a day job, you kind of have time constraints and deadlines and everything, you have to kind of work faster.
Thank you. We also have a graphic designer based mostly in Iceland here with us. I don't see the camera, but I hope they're here with us. So Bergora, would you like to share a bit about your creative ideas, where they come from, if you're here? Hello? This sometimes happens with people who are not.
I think they can't speak right now. They just said that they're at work.
I see. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have another person who just showed up on the screen, Artem Spivak.
Yay. Hello, can you see me, hear me? Yeah, I think the other person who is from Iceland, she said that she's at work or something in the chat.
Yeah.
So I feel that's the reason. Yeah, and for me, I think it's quite weird, but since I do like art and design and photography, for different areas of creative stuff, like for example, for abstract art, it usually like comes up to me in the very like weird moments, like in the middle of the night, for example, and then I don't know where to put the idea. And whereas with design or like something a bit more rational, I just have to kind of think maybe, or look at like what other people doing in the industry. So yeah, or maybe in the shower sometimes, to be fair as well. So pretty random as well. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. And 2 more to go. So Christine is here with us, and thank you, Bergora, for sharing your answer in the chat. I will read it out. Well, let me just read it out now. I do feel I get my best ideas when not working on the actual project, when taking a walk, taking a bath, reading books, etc. I also feel like I get a lot of good ideas from other people by working together, and like someone else said, by coming back to the project. 100%. Thank you so much for sharing. And this is what it's all about, collaboration over competition. So thanks for the answer, and hope work is going well. Christine, would you like to share where you get ideas from if you're here and not just listening from work? Christine.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. For my ideas, I get them a lot of times for hair, depending on the photo shoot. I do research usually on the storyline that they've given me, but a lot of times I like to actually look at really old period pieces for sometimes my hair inspiration. Also, I find just people watching gives me a lot of inspiration, but other than that, like I said, for me being the hairstylist, it all depends on what the creative director and the photographer have given me for the storyline. And then, like I said, it's really just a lot of research that I do. Also art books. I also love looking at sculpture. That also gives me a lot of shape ideas for the hair that I'm going to create. So art has definitely always been a big influence for me. And then nature. I also love the textures in nature. That also gives me a lot of inspiration for the hair that I also want to create.
Mm.
So much.
Lovely. It's like,
Thank you. Amazing. I love it. And I love it. I
It's
can't
like-
wait to check out your work as well. So drop a link in the chat, please. And last but definitely not least is Dee. So a UX UI researcher and designer based in London. So Dee, would you like to unmute and share where you go for ideas?
Hi. So for me, I think it's a mix of different things that I think all of you have already covered as well. So I think being a researcher, a lot of my inspiration does for a particular project in terms of methods and processes to follow comes from different laws around psychology. So a lot of research in that area. And then, but for my creative research, I think for me, it has to be outdoor walks without my phone or any devices. It has to be just with my thoughts. So I think outdoor walks and online research and books for sure.
A lot of well-being here covered. All right, thank you so much for answering. I hope I haven't missed anyone. If so, do let me know. And we can probably dive into breakout rooms if you agree, Jazzy, that okay, we will send you into smaller groups so you can have a bit of discussion there as well about the next question, which Jazzy will pick up. Oh, wow.
What methods do you use to overcome a creative block?
So if you guys want to take a note of it, how do you overcome creative blocks? And we're going to send you into smaller groups for 3 to 4 minutes. So you can have a bit of discussion around that, and then we'll come back to the room and we can share a bit more about what we learned. And remember that this is not just about the question, but also about you getting to know each other and see if some interesting connections can come out of it. So I'll stop talking and I will create breakout rooms of 3 to 4 participants, and it's up to you to discuss how do you overcome creative blocks. Off you go.
Oops. There we go. Nice.